Hey everybody, hope you're doing great today. This is Paul from ThisWayTheAquarium. Today's video I'm going to talk about some new fish I just got in this 29-gallon tank here behind me. So for this tank, it's a species-only tank. It has Neolamprologus Multifasciatus, also known as multi-shell dwellers or multi-shell dwellers, however you pronounce it. So I've had them for about a month now. I basically prepared this tank, got it ready, got it cycled, put some decorations in there, and put the fish in there. So right now they're kind of small. They're juvenile fish that I picked up from a local breeder over here. So this breeder had a bunch of them that they were selling off, and I managed to get myself 9 of them. So right now they're about 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch in size. Full size, the multis get to about 2 inches for the males, about 1.5 inch for the females. So being the small juveniles that they are in this tank, there's no breeding behavior right now. They're kind of just scoping out their territory and setting things up. So being shell dwellers, the one thing they do use and do want is shells in the tank. So I bought a bunch of shells from Amazon, a bunch of escargot shells. So something similar to this right here. It's basically a bag of 36 shells that I purchased from Amazon that are used for cooking purposes. In my case, I'm using them here in the fish tank so the fish have a place to hide when they feel threatened. And just a little while back when I was cleaning the front of the glass of the tank, the fish did scatter. Everybody disappeared. They went into hiding in their shells. I couldn't see them. You would have thought there's nothing living in the tank. But then a few minutes later, after I was done with cleaning the front of the glass, took all the cleaning supplies out, within a few minutes they were back to normal, swimming around again. So as part of the breeding process, they do use the shells as well. Their fish fry will use the shells to hide in. So when it came to putting shells in this tank, I basically put in about 2 to 3 shells per fish. So that way they can figure out which shell works best for them, set up their territories, and redecorate things as they see fit. As they do start breeding and fry come in there, I've got plenty of extra shells that I can place in there. That way the colony can expand. So with that, let's take a look at the fish. Shell dwellers are settling into their tank, scoping out their new territory. Got 9 in all, able to see all 9 I think here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. 6, 7, 8, 9. Scoping out the shells, checking out which one's going to be their new home. For filtration, I've got a single sponge filter, heater on the side over there, and then right now I just put in a couple plants. I've got a couple of anubias over here. You can see they've sprinkled some sand on top of the plants in terms of their moving stuff around. I do have a holy rock over here that some of the fish like to hang around as well too. And I do have a snail in here as well, a Nitrates snail that's going to help keep things clean, keep things moving. As you can see from the fish over here, they kind of hang around their shell areas. As you can see from some of the shells, there's been algae growing on them. Tank's mature enough, fully cycled. I use the cycling method for this, where I took a existing mature filter, squeezed off the material from the filter, and also touched it to this filter to help kickstart that process. In terms of feeding these fish, I feed them flake food, kind of on the smaller side because they're still small fish. In general, these are small fish compared to some of the other fish I have. So just to make sure that they get enough food to eat, I use crumbled up flake and just sprinkle it in the tank, and then they enjoy that. They gobble it up pretty quick. So the fish food I use for these guys, Extreme. I use the Extreme Aquatic Foods krill flake, and they do enjoy that thoroughly. So let's drop some in and watch them chow down. little skittish. You can see they're kind of darting around because I've got the camera set up pretty close to them. You can see as soon as I make a motion to adjust the camera, they'll immediately go down to the bottom there. Because these fish are diggers, I don't plan on putting any rooted plants in there because they're probably going to just dig them up and push them around. So right now I just have Anubias glued on rock. Even if they bury that a little bit, move it around, it's not going to hurt the Anubias. So far I'm not having any issues with any nitrates, so I don't plan on adding any more plants at this point in time. If I do need to add something, one of the things I like to do is add pothos plant, and that's one of those plants that you add at the top of the tank. Put it on the outside of the tank, the roots go in, suck up all the nitrates, and you don't have much issue with nitrates in that type of tank. I don't think they'll mess with the roots, especially since they're just floating around. They mainly stick to the substrate area, move that around, mess that around. So when you have these fish, don't expect to have a picture-perfect substrate. My original plans for this tank, instead of putting multis in there, was to put ocellatus, the gold ocellatus in particular. But then after reading a lot about their aggression issues and their territorial issues, I decided to go with the multis. They're not as aggressive, not as territorial as the gold ocellatus. This being a little larger tank, I wanted to have more than a few fish in there. With the ocellatus, my understanding is that you can only have a few in there because of a lot of territory disputes and fighting. So in order to avoid that, I went with the multi-shell dweller instead. So far they've been doing great. I've been happy with them. Healthy stock fish from a local breeder. Got them for a great price as well too, so that's also helpful. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you have any shell dwellers? Do you plan on getting any shell dwellers in the future? If so, what kind of shell dwellers? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.